Hey Internet, and welcome to my video review of the Lumintop TD16. This is a very bright flashlight that I've had for several months now, and although I've recently done some reviews on lights that I've just gotten my hands on, I did want to go back and cover this light just because it is a killer flashlight. And I've kept the original box it came in so I could do sort of a retroactive unboxing for you. A bit larger flashlight than the others that I've reviewed recently. This is not a pocket light. It does come with a belt holster also, and it does use, I'll take the cap off here, it uses an 18650 rechargeable lithium-ion battery. It does not come with the battery. This is just one that I've purchased to use and charge with it. You do insert the battery with the positive end facing forward. This is different than the last couple lights that I reviewed where it was actually facing toward the tail. And the light is operated entirely from a tail switch on the back, as you can see there. The light is very bright. And though it has a tail clicky, I like that it's, as you can kind of see the angle there, kind of beveled up and down to it. As you can see, you can stand the light up. So if you want to use it for like a candle mode. That was one of the first things I did with this light. When I got it, we had a storm in the area, and the city around me had a power outage for the first evening that I had this light. So what a fortuitous way to test it out initially, and I did prop it up in candle mode. I used the medium mode and was very impressed with the amount of the room that was lit up. I actually had an Olight flashlight shaped very similar to this with the tactical bezel on it a few years back that used an 18650 battery, and its high mode was about 250 lumens. So to see that this one is 1000 at about the same battery life actually that the other light has, that's just impressive, and it really shows how much LED technology has improved over the years. So obviously you turn it on and off with the tail switch, and then this button right here you can use while you're holding it. This cycles through modes, so I'll go ahead and just turn it on. Every time you click it, it'll cycle through low, medium, and high. And if you click and hold it, you can activate straight into strobe mode. And once it's in strobe, clicking the button will switch between the different flash modes. So that's obviously a slow on-off flash if you wanted to signal for help or get attention. One more mode, I believe this is a much slower pulsing flash. And then if you click and hold again, you go back into the regular solid modes, and you can cycle through them at will. I do like the ability to just go straight into strobe very quickly and easily. As I've talked about in other videos, if you ever have to use that mode for self-defense, it's very nice to just get into it quick without having to push a whole bunch of buttons. It is made of anodized aluminum, really tough body. There's no battery rattle. It seems like a given, but you'd be surprised. I've had quite a few flashlights where that was actually an issue. As you can see, apart from other lights that I've reviewed recently, this is a very wide bezel, projects a really nice, impressive beam, sets very deep in there, and it does have the strike bezel. I've never obviously had to use this for a real self-defense situation to speak personally on how it works hitting somebody with it, but it does give the light an aggressive, kind of a cool feel either way, so if the aesthetic works for you. Well, let's go ahead and take it outside, and I want to show you guys just how bright this light can get and what kind of a powerful beam we're talking about here. I'm going to start right off the bat with a low mode. Nice illumination for when you're walking. You can obviously see it has a very defined hotspot. As with a lot of my videos, what doesn't come through from the camera quite as well is in person there is actually a more usable amount of light in the spill around the hotspot than kind of shows up here, but I think you can even tell here that you can see the ground very well. Sticks, leaves, you wouldn't trip on anything, even in low mode. But let me step it up into the medium. Alright, here we go. That same tree at 15 feet away now has a very nice amount of detail to it. And go a little further to something 20 feet away. The diffuse light doesn't come through at that distance as well on the camera, but you can see the hotspot still hits the things in the distance really well, and anything on the ground very well illuminated. If you were doing some nighttime hiking or camping, this medium would be perfect for just about any task. It's got enough throw distance for most things, and up close, plenty of light. Alright, but now, since this light is a thrower, with no further ado, let's take a few steps back and throw it up into the high mode. There we go. Just at 1,000 lumens. That's about 30 feet from me. Shows up very clearly. Big hot spot, big usable area all around it. Anything I shine it at, pretty much the distance of anywhere in my yard. Very clear to look at. And I did want to, just for the sake of comparison, show you guys what this is like compared to the best thrower that I've tried in the Baton series that Olight does. They're a smaller light. So get a good look at that, and then I'm going to pull out the S30R. Alright, that's the S30R at the same distance in its high mode, which I believe is in the 500 lumen range. And then if we throw it up in a turbo, what I find impressive about that is, for a light with a much narrower bezel, you don't get as defined of a hot spot, but the spill is really nice, and you get a really nice area at just over 1,000 lumens. Alright, and my closing thoughts for the TD16, I want to reiterate that this is a nice size light. It's comfortable to hold. The belt holster that it comes with is pretty easy to use, and this isn't a real heavy light that weighs your belt down to wear that way. I do like that about it. I like the ease of access of the modes and how easy that is to switch. One thing I will say though, when I first got this light, it was one of the most powerful ones in my collection and really my best thrower. But in the test we just did outside, I have to say that the Olight S30R really held its own at the 30 to 40 feet mark in terms of its throw distance and usable light around the hotspot. And as you can see, it's a much shorter light. The bezels are very different in size. I mean, you would think that the TD16 would totally outperform this smaller light, but at that range, they were surprisingly similar. Now, if you're going to go up to the maximum range that the TD16 says it can throw, I'm sure you would see a difference there, but if you're not in a position where you need a serious throwing light, smaller ones might be more ideal than this one. So it's a nice light. It's comfortable to hold. The natural V shape feels good in the hand, and it has some of the features like the strike bezel and the anti-roll knurling around the outside, which is useful. It does have the pocket clip, as you can see. Good all-around light. So I hope this helps you make an informed decision if you were checking this light out and considering it. If you liked this video, please hit the like button and subscribe. I'll be posting more videos soon on different flashlights, and see you guys next video.